Welcome to the show, Dom. You've been here. Nicole, thank you so much for coming through. It is an honor to have you in here. I see everything you do on Strava, on social media, and it's motivating to see you doing the distances and the speeds and the elevation and the climbing and the pretty much everything that you do on the bike is phenomenal. So thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully there's a lady that can get into cycling that is inspired by you through this podcast.
Yeah, definitely. We just recently did the Cape Epic. It fell under this program called the She Untamed. And what they're doing is trying to develop so many female riders, change their lives, get them bikes, and to ride massive things like the Epic. So to be part of a program like that, it was like, it's inspiring to see like how many female cyclists there are out there that, they want to do it and they want to do big things. So yeah, I hope I can inspire some ladies out there.
Well, you're inspiring us. I know you probably will definitely inspire us. Because you see she's riding faster and longer than you.
Yeah, giving her a chance.
Okay, well, we know your story. High under bridges. No, I'm just joking. So let's lower a brief introduction of you. Let's maybe start, because obviously we mentioned that you are a cyclist, professional cyclist.
No.
At what point are you professional?
I think when it's your income.
Okay.
When it's your main job.
I mean, you're doing races and getting podium spots.
Yes, yeah, but as an amateur.
Okay.
So that doesn't fall under the professional banner. It's just like if I can say, weekend warrior that, we still have a full-time job.
Weekend warrior.
Yeah, definitely more than that. Yeah, I mean, just doing Cape Epic.
Yeah.
A weekend warrior is not going to be finishing a Cape Epic.
Yeah, sure.
And there were some strange-looking people there where I was like, I was fucking riding Cape Epic. It was quite intense. Like some of the people I saw there, I was like, how is this person going to finish these stages? People on hardtails.
And they do have.
There's a team on single speeds. They were called like Single Speed Insanity. Team of old buddies. I heard them chatting. They've done it a few times there. But just the people, bro. Complete mix of people. It's not just athletes and not intense riders there, but people are going out and getting it done.
But that's just it's nice to see when people do these difficult events for charity, like when they do it in an even more difficult way, doing, on a single speed. Or I saw a guy when I did UTCT, he was doing the 100-miler in a suit. Yes. How can you do 100 miles, 160 kilometers in a suit? Obviously his shoes were trail shoes, but he was wearing a full suit, blazer, tie, everything.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. He does all his marathons in suits.
That's ridiculous. I assume it's for charity. Why else would you be doing it like that? Yeah. So what is your first introduction into cycling? Let's maybe start there.
I was about...
This podcast is powered by Dis-Chem Living Fit. With a wide range of supplements and fitness products, they have the perfect product for you regardless of your goal. Dedicated and committed to providing expert sources of information that you can trust and rely on. They are here to motivate, guide, and inspire. Dis-Chem Living Fit, making healthy living easier. Back to the show.
5, 4, maybe when people start walking. But yeah, I mean, I was very young, like 4 years old. I was probably already on the bike riding, and my stepdad was he's the biggest reason I am doing all the sports I do. My first triathlon, which was a sprint distance, was I was 8 years old. And then he put me on a mountain bike with a pair of tackies, and at 9 years old, I finished 94.7.
Nice.
Just like 100K. So I'm like, young, man, like, that's crazy. And then he would just sign us up, myself and my brother, and would just go do all these random sprint distance triathlons. So I've always cycled, and I was actually a really good BMXer back in the day.
Racing BMX?
Yeah, racing BMX. So we'd go to Road BMX track, and we'd race the night.
That was my first introduction to cycling.
Yeah, it's so cool. I am 30.
Okay. So I stopped when I was in grade 7. So probably like 2009-ish. 2007, 2009. It was like a 3-year-ish period where I was when I was riding, and I did race at our road, and obviously like the old Bryanston track.
Yes. Yeah. Then we had a massive gang of guys in our streets, and we would just all ride bikes together. And then, I just got into triathlon very big, and it was a big portion of my life. And then I just got hit by too many cars, so I couldn't run anymore. So that made me, obviously my recovery and everything, get onto road racing. Did that for about 2 years, and I only started mountain biking like a year and a half ago. That's where I am now.
And now your preference is mountain bike.
I love it. I absolutely love it. People have always told me, get into the mountains, and I'm like, no, man, I'm a roadie. I do triathlons. And now I'm just like, we have to mountain bike. All I want to do.
For you, what is that, distinction that now it is all you want to do? Like, why do you prefer mountain now compared to when you were doing road?
Places mountain biking takes you it's unreal. The mountains you see, the farms, the places, it's just the parts of South Africa you wouldn't get to see on a road bike. You may not even hike it. It's just like you're riding in the most phenomenal places you can't even describe to people. So for me, it's just the atmosphere. The people are so happy, they're friendly. There's so much more fierce in mountain biking. It's just much, much better for me. Yeah.
No, I agree. I assume you agree too, because you're also more of a mountain trail type of guy.
So, like I do enjoy road, but I never got into like I won't get super pumped to go and do a road race.
But for you, it's road because it's for a triathlon.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I train for triathlon on my mountain bike just because it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
And if you're getting mileage in on the mountain bike, it's much harder than doing it on the road bike. So you come off stronger, but it's also a lot more fun. You can ride on the road, you can jump off, hit a trail. Do you know what I mean? I do also prefer the mountain bike quite a bit. I haven't done a lot of like technical stuff though. I do enjoy the technical stuff, but I think I've been enjoying that grind of just putting your head down and just hitting it for a couple of hours.
I think that's also maybe a difference between road or even road and gravel and mountain biking. Is road and gravel, you get to just get those rotations, and it's just that constant grind, and you get in that zone. Whereas mountain biking, obviously, it's technical. You need to concentrate more. You have to you're going over rocks. You need to use your brain a lot more.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you do just on the road and you're cruising and you're getting a nice speed and your average speed just stays constant the entire time, it's like cathartic almost to cruise. Yeah. So I think that's also the appeal to road.
Yeah, and it's also like, I used to do hours and hours and kilometers when I was road riding. That was like my thing. But now it's like I come out of one mountain bike training session and it feels like I've been in a scrum for the whole day, getting rugby tackle, that I just want to go and relax. It's like so hard on the body, but it's rewarding. Very rewarding.
What injuries, when you obviously got hit by cars and stuff, that got you now or got you then into cycling?
I keep hitting the same knee. So the same knee keeps breaking. I've had 3 operations on it. And this last one was it was too much. It just destroyed the knee. It's ACL, everything just snapped. So that took a while to recover. And recovery was, the rotation of the knee. So cycling was good. And then I just continued with that. Running just hurts too much. And I miss it, I miss running. But it's not something I'm like keen to get back into like immediately. Enjoying the cycling a lot.
We were chatting earlier, we were talking about how, running in general, obviously you also mentioned that you feel like you've been in a scrum after mountain biking, but running, you also is a lot more prone to getting injuries.
Yeah.
When you ride in that constant impact on your knees, on your ankles, on whatever, your hips, whereas cycling, that's why a lot of older people still can cycle, whereas they would have to stop running. Yeah. With you now, what kind of injuries have you suffered? I don't think we touched on that last time.
So the main thing that I struggle with is just like shin splints, but it's weird. It's very unmanageable. So I think we might have mentioned it last time, is I can go and do like an ultra and be fine. And then I did the cradle cracker and I ran a super hard 15 and I was bust for like over a month. You know what I mean? So I haven't had like any serious injuries. It's more just like light setbacks, and shin splints can take a very long time. And then, just on top of that, I think it's more just like mental injuries. You just, I don't know, but there's something about running that just keeps you wanting to carry on. I haven't had like any hectic accidents on my bike. I've had 2 on my road bike. Nothing crazy, a couple of falls on my mountain bike. But the mountain bike's intense for me. Like, when I do like serious technical stuff, I have to get myself to slow down because I get super excited and carried away.
Yeah.
And I start getting a bit nervous with myself, But yeah, I've been pretty lucky with injuries. I haven't had any hectic.
On the topic of injuries, I remember seeing a post last year when you were doing the epic about you didn't do your nutrition correctly and you had to stop, or what was that story that I saw?
I dehydrated last year epic. Firstly, I got called up to do epic. I think it was 4 or 5 weeks before the event.
So what weekend warrior gets called up?
Yeah,
There's no weekend warrior that gets called up.
Yeah, so then I went into this thing, and I know my stepdad has done a few epics, and he was like, this is an opportunity, go do it. So, and I know epic has never been something on my bucket list because it's so hectic. But the opportunity was there, and I went, and I think, my partner was also he was very strong. And we just rode this so hard, but it was crazy hot, like 40, it was 48 degrees last year. And I completely dehydrated. Like, no matter how much I took in anything, it's not going to help. So I finished that stage. It was stage 2, and then I started stage 3, but I was dead. Like, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I was completely. Then the medics pulled me off to say, like, listen, you're actually not healthy. You have to abandon the race. So they did, and then I got back to the Absa tent, and the chef that was there, I was vegetarian at the time, and he came to me and he brought me a plate of chops, and he was like, eat these, ma'am. And I'm like, nah, I'm vegetarian, the story. He's like, is it for medical reasons? So I'm like, no. He says, well, then eat the chops. Okay, sat there, ate 1, ate 2, 45 later, I'm like, ooh. And I felt so great that the next day I started and then finished the rest of the epic. But it
Not vegan since?
Sorry?
Is that what made you stop being vegan?
Yeah, like, because then I just realized, like, in an event like that, you have to take in so much to be fueled. And I know there's vegetarians or vegans out there that have found the balance. I just didn't, and I'll turn to meat when it comes to a big event like that.
So in general, do you kind of stray away from eating meat?
Yeah.
So
Mostly.
Okay.
But it used to be, maybe I'll have meat twice a week now. Most of my meals are vegetarian.
Okay.
But if I've got like a big race or big weekend, then I'll kind of fuel up or on a horse roll.
I can't imagine you staying away from meat.
Yeah, I did vegetarian for a while as well. So I was just doing it for like dieting. I was checking like, I did keto, I did like night carbs, and then I did vegetarian. And it was pretty cool. It actually did well for me, but I stayed just as lean on the other ones. This is still when I was kind of coming out of bodybuilding. And but I don't know if I had a stomach bug at the time or if it was just a fiber intake that my body was trying to get used to. But I had a really sore stomach for like after the 2 weeks, and then I just stopped. I was like, fuck, I'm not into this shit anymore. But I enjoy it. Like I don't eat as much meat as I used to. In the bodybuilding days, like 200 grams every meal. You're hammering chicken and stuff. I'm pretty cool. Like if I go into Woolworths and I grab like a salad, or when I go out, I can pick a vegetarian dish like on the menu. I quite enjoy it. I don't have to have meat where I used to be super strict on that. But it's not something that I'd be like, okay, I'm going vegetarian again.
Yeah.
So you say you've tried with these different ones. What is the worst in terms of assisting in endurance lifestyle?
Sure. So I think there's a lot of differences between the diets, even though they all had the same result. Banting obviously, or keto, pretty good. I did the CrossFit Opens on keto, and I performed pretty well on it. But I think just because of the energy systems, you just don't have that fast burning carbohydrate, but you have that sustained energy. So that one worked pretty well, and I think for endurance would be pretty good. The only thing I do think though with endurance is you need carbohydrates. You need that fast energy. You need that sugar load. You need the glycogen stores in the cells. You can't just be running on fats all the time unless you are 100% fat oxidized for that kind of racing. And then vegetarian, like Nicola said, it's like the calories. Some people find the balance, but you need to consume a high amount of foods, especially on vegetarian diets, to get those calories in. And then the problem is the fiber. If you're taking too much fiber, you're going to have a problem with your gut.
Yeah, because it's easy to get in the calories, but then it's all just going to be carbs and that contain a lot of fiber. Then obviously it's going to mess you up.
So it's you just got to choose what works for you. Like I've got one of my mates. I mean, this guy he like runs the ETE route for fun. Like he runs it, and he can run on like a gel and a water. Do you know what I mean? And he's vegetarian. And he doesn't have any problems consuming calories. And he'll bike the next day, 100 k's. So then he'll run again. He's fine. He's mapped it out. His body works like that. It's cool. But I won't be able to go and do the same thing. My body takes in a lot of calories. And it doesn't matter if it's carbs, fats, or proteins. It uses it up. It's learned to do that from the years of training, you know. We spoke about it last time, is that you need to train the same way you're going to race. Your body needs to get used to that. And that's what it needs to hold. And if it's lacking something, I think like eating the meat might have just been a protein thing, you know, and iron, probably even iron, and it's just your body absorbed the sodiums and all the different nutrients from that different food source, and all of a sudden you just felt amazing. So you just gotta find what works. I don't think there's a diet for.
How's your diet changed going from bodybuilding to endurance now?
So my diet hasn't really changed in terms of the types of food I'm eating.
Okay.
It maybe will change in terms of I will obviously have I'll prioritize the foods around now the endurance parts and then not around the weight training part.
Okay.
So unless, like if I'm running in the morning, I'll still run on an empty stomach.
Okay, cool.
Unless it's anything over 2 hours, then maybe I'll eat before.
Yeah.
Or depends. Usually I'm trying now to see how far I can go without eating, just to try and build up my reserve, or to see how much of my reserves I can obviously use. So like I'll try to do like 21 Ks and see how hard I can push without eating anything before or during, just to see, so that when I do a race, I know, okay, I actually only need one gel after an hour. I don't need to carry like 3 or 4, like just to see what my body is capable of, and also just to build that baseline.
Yeah.
But essentially, you know, I still, even with endurance now, I still fast every day up until 12.
Okay.
Except for like a Saturday and a Sunday, if I do a long ride or long run, then I eat before. So anything over, let's say on the weekend, anything over 2 hours I will eat before. So it used to always be, you know, I have to get in this and this and this before a gym session, whereas now it's okay, let's prioritize that around a run. If I'm doing a race on a Saturday, obviously then I'll maybe eat a bit more on the Friday as well. Sure. Whereas if I was competing, it's like, no, I can't afford to, because then I'm going to put on weight. Okay. So whereas now it's now it's like, I'm going to go burn 3,000 calories tomorrow. Like, I want to perform better. I don't care how I look on the day, you know. I'm going on performance. So absolutely. I prioritize a lot of the food around, is this going to optimally help me perform, or how is this going to make me look? I'm always trying to stay lean as possible. So sometimes I know I do undereat for my performance. My performance could improve if I ate a bit more.
Yeah.
But I'll do that for serious races. Okay. But I'm not trying to perform every weekend.
Yeah, sure.
So like if I am in a deficit up until I do a long run on a Saturday, I'm not that upset about that.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard coming from that bodybuilding background into the endurance stuff, because you've got to mentally change yourself to knowing that, like you say, like if you don't eat, you don't eat. Yeah. Getting it's difficult because you're always thinking like you got to put back, and then you just get over it.
Well, I mean, when I first started, I would like, let's say I would go for a 20K run or whatever. I'd be like, no, I can't take a goo. It's just extra calories that I'm eating in a day. Whereas now it's like, no, at the moment I have a goo, I feel so much better that I can just push harder for the second half of the event or whatever. So I think those are the kind of things that you just have to learn if you come from competing, if you come from a restrictive diet background.
I did WBFF in 2014 and I hated it. I couldn't. I was like,
would have been the year I did it.
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I never got, actually missed Ironman entries. And then I was like, well, maybe it's a sign to try something else. So Ainsley Sim was my coach. Yeah. And I was like, I can't understand this. I just want to go ride my bike for like 4 to 6 hours. Why am I in the gym for like an hour and a half? Like, I just want to, then I couldn't ride because it was burning calories in my muscles and all this stuff. And I just want to be out there. Hey?
Now Ainsley's flipping burning himself to pieces.
Also, what did you run the other day? Like 100 Ks or something?
But I think that also is, I was actually chatting to a friend of mine the other day, and then he said, why do you enjoy running and cycling more than, when you were competing? And a lot of people might disagree, but, the events that we do are, and we do them pretty frequently, are way more difficult than what competing is.
Yeah.
Like the sacrifice in terms of the competing lifestyle, there's more sacrifice there.
Yeah, sure.
Because after the event, we can have a beer.
Yeah.
Whereas they're not gonna do that, because obviously it could break down muscle, a little bit of dehydration, so they might not be recovering as well. But for us, like, you finish an event, obviously maybe not you.
Sometimes.
Yeah, you see, but you got it under control.
Yeah.
So like, I would have a beer after the race. When I was competing and I'd go to a bar and someone offered me a beer, it was like they were offering me heroin. Yeah, like it was so taboo to have any form of alcohol when I was competing, whereas now I look forward to that beer after race, because there's nothing better than a beer after you just burn 3,000 calories.
Yeah, we just do.
We do it for the beer. Hang out with our friends. Be more social.
Yeah, and how is that for you? Obviously being and going through the recovery process, like having a beer. Is there sometimes where you feel like this might trigger me more? Sometimes where it's like, nah, this isn't going to trigger me at all. Like, how is your...
Yeah, I think that life has left me completely. Like, I think closer to the time of when I got clean and I started the bodybuilding and competing there, obviously there's a lot of steroid abuse and stuff. And I suppose you could say, okay, well, you're still taking drugs. But I mean, it's not like I'll go and complain about people getting medication from their doctor. If that's what I was doing, then cool. But I'm not putting shit in my nose or smoking anything. So for me, it was okay at the time. And I competed for 3 years. So by the time that 3 years was done, I wasn't like, okay, now I'm just going to go get ripped up and party and drink, So it was difficult in the beginning, like not to drink all the time and stuff. But as time went by and I found different ways to deal with all of this, and I stopped going to NA and all of that. Eventually it just felt like that whole life left me. Like, it doesn't interest me to go and get hammered. My mates go out to enjoy all the time. I'll go for an hour or two. I won't even go. They won't even invite me, or sometimes they'll invite me because they know I'm either going to say, sorry, bro, I've got to train tomorrow. Or they know I'll come for a bit, have a Coke Zero, maybe have a beer, and then I'll leave. So I think it comes down to time, bro. Maybe it doesn't work like that for some people, but it worked for me. I just got used to that. And I still have this thing in my mind of, if I have too many beers, that tomorrow I'm not going to perform. And it's funny you say, like, you don't need to perform every weekend. But for me, to a certain extent, I hated waking up or not even going to sleep. Do you know what I mean? And the next day is so shit, but it's horrible. And now waking up every day feeling good is the next best thing for me, And then I can go and run, I can go ride, I can go swim, I can go and lift weights or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I got addicted to feeling fresh every single day, So it just doesn't bother me now. If I ride with a group of my mates and they're all clapping beers afterwards, I'll have one, they can have 4, that's fine. I'll leave early, they stay late. That's up to them.
What do you guys do, when, because we've all obviously, as you mentioned now, either been invited or haven't been invited. How have you guys managed that in terms of your life and your friendships and your family with, doing things that sometimes do take you away from those situations? Because, I don't know, you got a boyfriend, right? No. Okay, well, I assume you've had one in your endurance training period. Okay, so how do you manage? Because I've also struggled, because I feel guilty going out and cycling for 5 or 6 hours, because it's like, I haven't seen my girlfriend all week. Now the first opportunity I get, I'm actually not with her. I'm out cycling for 6 hours. Like, it's difficult to manage that. How have you done it? And then we can go on to you.
Mine, it's my life, it's my lifestyle, and it is who I am. So you gotta know, and like my friends know that I'm waking up early, so they know that I'm leaving the party earlier because I gotta wake up. Or sometimes, whatever. I'll be like, I'm having so much fun, I'm gonna get 3 hours sleep, but I haven't seen my friends in a while, so I'm gonna do it. But you know, with a boyfriend or a girlfriend for your situation, it's just like if you can get someone who has their own hobby as well, or be in the same sort of industry as you, they understand. But it's just so much fun to be outside. Like, I don't know what else they want to do. Just go and have fun outside. But it is difficult to manage it. And yeah, I've missed a lot of family stuff because I'm racing, but I think my family knows that. They know, are you around? Are you racing? Are you here this weekend? Because they know it has been my whole life since I was very young, and it's just what I do.
Yeah,
So
that's
it works.
kind of
I'm
the
lucky.
question.
I am lucky.
They just say to you, do you have a race this weekend? And then they tell you the plans after,
Yeah.
instead of saying, listen, can you be at this event?
So, but I do try, like if it's family stuff, like I'll always try to be there. And my friend stuff as well. They're on. But I mean, my girlfriends, my group of girlfriends, they have been my friends since I was 6. So they've always known, okay, Nicola's riding or doing something. So, and my really good friends now are actually my cycling friends. So we in the same boat.
I think what's also nice is, you know, you might be done by 12 o'clock or whatever, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you can still go see the family members. And I think it's also maybe just actually being present in those times that you are with them.
Yeah.
So just making the most of the times you are with them, and also surrounding yourself with those people that do understand.
Yeah.
Not surrounding yourself with people that make you feel bad for doing something that you love.
Absolutely, yeah. And our friends, I mean, they've all got wives and kids and families and things. So we do start all our stuff fairly early on the weekend so that we're done by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So they can get back to their families and meet my friends.
Yeah.
By the time we get home, pretty much,
They wait.
they like get.
Yeah, the average Joe is waking up.
Yeah.
It's like you've got your stuff done, and then you've, like you said, like you got the whole day, so you can go for lunch, you can take the family out, go with the kids, play, whatever. It's. I don't feel like you actually miss out on anything really for that amount of time that we're out training, unless you want to go for like a early morning breakfast.
Yeah.
But also, I know what I would rather be doing. I would rather be cycling or running.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm missing out. I just feel bad because I haven't seen my mom in a month, and now she's invited me for breakfast. She's like, "Are you riding this weekend? Would you like to go for breakfast?" And it's like, "No, I'm riding this weekend." And she asked me the next weekend, "No, I'm riding this weekend."
Tell her to make it lunch.
No, that was just I mean, I see my mom like 3 times a week. So but those kind of situations, and I think it's maybe just me putting the guilt on myself, whereas they might not actually be thinking, why aren't you seeing me?
No, but I do feel that you'd have to have that conversation, because I mean, we've lost so many cycling friends. They're not dead, they're still around, but their wives are like, no, absolutely not, you have to stop riding. And I think it's because they don't understand. They haven't been athletes, you know. And like, I had this one family member tell me before, like, Nix, you are not living your best life. You're not having fun. You need to go out and have fun. And for me, being in a club is not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun for me. Fun is me being on my bike. That's where I have all my fun. So I think now that they understand that, they can be like, okay, now I see why you ride for so long, you know. And I think you just have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And try to find some sort of balance. It is hard though.
Yeah. I've also had that with my mates quite a bit, because they all like to braai and drink and watch Formula 1 and football and whatever, you know, and they try and rope me in. Just stay for a couple, take the day off, you don't have to train tomorrow.
You need to rest.
Yeah, but it's like, listen, I don't rope you guys into not drinking and braaiing today to come and run cycle with me.
Yeah.
And it's that's the ironic thing is people make you bad for making relatively healthy decisions.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not making them feeling bad for making the unhealthy decisions.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's no correlation. I can't understand why some people, like even some people, like you're working all the time, or you know, you're always doing something that's obviously different to what they want to do, and just because it's different to what they want to do, now it's the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it just doesn't suit them.
Yeah.
It's just not what they think.
Maybe it's also because that they feel guilty. So they're putting the guilt onto you by saying, you know, you always, you know, you deserve a rest day tomorrow. You don't have to cycle tomorrow. Whereas they just feel guilty because they're sleeping in and they're not doing anything productive. So they trying to make you feel bad for missing out on time with them when actually they're just feeling guilty about themselves and their lack of, you know, wanting to progress.
Yeah, my friends sleep till late. I mean, they only get up at like 9. They do their things around their house, which I don't care. If that's how you've chosen how to live your life, that's sweet. I'm gonna.
Because you're happy living yours. Yeah. So what someone else is doing in their life, it means nothing to you. It means
nothing. We're still going to meet up at the same place. Like, here's what we've been doing at 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just your
choice. I've seen sometimes you start cycling at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, not so much anymore. Hey, I've like
in summer maybe.
Yeah, we do go out really early. Every morning I leave my house at 4:30, and then that's like it's not too bad.
What time are you in bed at night?
10, 10, 11.
That late? Yeah. And what time do you wake up? Like 4?
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
I wake up at 4, but I have to be asleep at 8:30. I can't function. If I'm waking up at 4 or 5, I have to be asleep by 9. I can't. I have to.
No, that's really good.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't function during the day unless if I don't.
Yeah.
But do you stay up and watch TV and what?
TV, I'm on my phone sorting out things.
See, I don't watch much TV.
But
so I get home, I chill, work online, go to bed.
I love TV.
Really?
I love series and movies. Like and it's more the appreciation of the directors and the angles, the cameras, and all of that.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Like the script, and I like listening to certain things, like why did they write the joke this way, like that kind of stuff. So that's why I enjoy it. For me, it's like analyzing. It's like analyzing what they're saying, which is cool for me. So a lot of the time, I really just want to watch, but I'm like, no, I need to wake up at 4 tomorrow. I actually just have to go to bed.
Yeah, it's better. Sleep is good.
So now what is your next event?
Race to the Sun. Race to the Sun this weekend.
Explain that for people that don't know.
Oh, it's 160k. It's
165, yeah.
Yeah, 100 miler. We start at Hearties and we finish in Sun City, gravel. So it's a lot of fun. It's very fast.
Do you ride that on a gravel bike or mountain bike?
No, I'm on a mountain bike, but I've recently put on thinner wheels, thinner tires, so it's got a lot more. It rolls better. It's a bit faster. So, yeah, that will be...
And then when you handle the more technical rides, do you have a different bike for that?
No, same bike, but then I do change the tires to fatter ones because we go over some crazy things. That, like Tankwa Trek, I don't even know how they expected our bikes to get over some of those things. But you do, and it's very cool. But yeah, I do just change tires, I want to be a bit faster. Yeah. I'd love to do it on a gravel bike, man. But yeah, it's not
I don't enjoy those gravel bikes.
Really?
I rode one in Cedarburg like a few years ago with Carl Evans. I hated it. I started on a mountain bike.
Is it just too hard for you?
Yeah, so like now they've got suspension in the heads and like they've obviously designed them a lot better. But there was so much corrugation in the Cedarburg.
Oh yeah.
We were like 70 k's in and Carl was falling to pieces and I know he's hard, bro. And I was looking at the circuit and I was like, Carl, what is wrong with you, bro? This can't be happening. I was fresh. I had COVID. I didn't even know about it until afterwards. I ran a mountain. I did a 15k run before I got on the bike with him. And the circuit was like smashed. And he was on a gravel bike. I was on the mountain bike. And then we swapped. And like half an hour in, I was like, fuck this. Put this thing on the back of the car. I was like, I don't know why. And I never rode a gravel bike ever again. But most of the stuff we do all the gravel stuff on our mountain bikes. Yeah. It's harder. It's definitely harder. But I suppose it's just as much fun.
But I think it's also one of those fad type things that have come into society.
Everyone's just buying gravel bikes.
My dad just got a gravel bike as well. And he's like, no, I'm going to ride this gravel bike so when we ride mountain bikes together, I can keep up with you. Obviously, the less technical routes.
Yes.
But I'm like, that's just an excuse because now you want to have a third bike.
Yeah. No, it's
and I think it's the same as, road running and trail running. Like it's kind of those subcultures of the sport.
Yeah.
Whereas like the trail running sometimes is like your wilder, more carefree type of guys, and then your rock stars type of thing.
Yeah.
And your road runners are like your Elton John type of guys. It's like two different people.
Yeah.
It's like maybe trail runners and mountain biking are hillbillies, and then it's like the city folk are the cyclists on the road and the road runners. But it's interesting. It's just it also is personality types, I think.
Yeah, but I also do think that road cycling is going, and I think the next biggest thing is going to be, it is already, is gravel races.
Yeah.
There's one every single weekend.
Yeah.
And I think with the amounts of hijacking and how bad our roads are, the races are getting cancelled because there's too many potholes on routes. And it's like, it's hard for the organizers, eh? It's like, I mean, we're hosting our second gravel race in August. And it's just like, this is what people are doing now. It's so much fun. You can come on your mountain bike, you can come on your gravel bike if you want to be more competitive, because they do go a lot faster. I think it's the next best thing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of gravel trail that you don't even know about. Like it's amazing. We're like with the 100 milers, like I've done, like between Drake events and just what's the other company called, like Adventure Racing or something.
Oh yeah.
They do
And
like
also faces,
I've ridden so much gravel here. It's actually mind blowing. Like while I've been doing these races, you're like, where does all of this come from? Why don't we know about it? How do we find it? You know what I mean? But it is starting to come to light now. And I think, like you said, like a lot of people are moving off the roads now. Also, it's just become too dangerous.
Yeah.
But they find it, especially Pretoria side. There's like Ks, bro. I've done 200 Ks of gravel that side. It's just massive. Law School. Yeah, have you done that ride?
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
It's amazing. They're hard because they're super long. They're always so long because they're taking it from road onto off road, because it's gravel. It's reasonably flat. It's fast if you want it to be, but they're always super long.
Yeah.
But that Minimanga route or that Drake events route, my dad and I were just doing a ride out in the cradle. We're just going to go out to Magaliesburg, and then we saw like 300 riders starting there at Bidon's Cafe or whatever. And we're just like, what is this? So the guy's like, no, it's the Minimanga. It's like 110 or whatever it was. So like, okay, cool. Do you have to pay enter whatever? He's like, no, you just ride with us. So then we did that whole gravel riding route, and it was so nice.
Yeah.
And it was just, you did little bit through the cradle, and then you just hit gravel. And it's uninterrupted gravel pretty much the entire time. You got small holding farms around you, and it's beautiful, and it's soiled by society, because it's just this beautiful area with relatively flat roads.
Yeah.
So it's not super difficult, other than maybe there's the time that you put in.
Yeah, you guys must come do my race in August. It's quite hard.
What is on the 10th? 5th
of August.
So I must justify buying a gravel bike.
I would.
Bring a mountain bike, bro. You can bleed with me at the back somewhere. I'm doing the backyard ultra. I think it might be the weekend after, so I'll check. Because I saw you guys released it. No, I'll still do it.
So what's the distances? What are the options?
So the options are 100 milers, so 160 Ks, or there's a smaller one that's 60 kilometers.
Why don't you guys do like a 100 and a 160?
No, because
60 is so small.
60 is small, but it's more to introduce people to...
Yeah. Did you guys have a big crowd last year with the 60K?
The 60K. And like the families come, and then the wives are like, oh, okay, I'll do the 60K. And then the younger kids, so it is a big draw for them too.
But even people that maybe like who you're trying to attract, those for the people for the 60Ks, let's say a weekend warrior, that's maybe like their second race or something.
Yeah.
Even 60Ks sounds a lot, Obviously it's gravel, so it's pretty flat. But for someone that doesn't really have an experienced gravel riding, might think 60K is a really long race. Whereas if you only offer 100, you're going to get way less people entering.
Yeah. And 100 is still a bit far, and then it's like, why 100 and why not 100 miler? We've discussed in length about the distance.
I'm sure you guys have,
It's just like the 100 miler is like the trend.
Yeah. It is, definitely is,
It's what you do.
A lot of people want to do 100 milers. I suppose later on you could do like a 60, 100 miler.
Yeah, later
Start opening up a couple of other distances, because you guys will still be riding the same route.
Anyway,
You'll probably
you just turn back.
So
like 1 or 2 farms.
you don't need to route recon anything else, get more marshals. The guys just kind of cut back.
And you, sir, what's your next event?
Sunday I've got Sun City Ultra, so 70.3 triathlon. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool at Sun City.
Are you going for a particular time you want to get?
So actually how this came about is we got sponsored by Suzuki, who are the main sponsors for the Ultra event. And they just needed athletes to basically race under their brand. So one of my mates, Neil, he just pulled me and one of our other friends in, Brandon. And I was like, okay, cool. This is what happens in our lives, bro. People just say to us, come do a race.
Yeah.
No, you're not complaining though. It is what you want.
You always take the hardest option though. You're like, okay, cool. You're like basically a half Ironman just for fun. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really have set times, but I mean, like, I kind of have in my mind as to what I would like to go about. But I think anything like close to 6 hours would be good. I would enjoy that. Apparently the run's pretty tough for that.
The run is tough. You need to just
it's pretty hard there. There's a lot of hills. The run's inside Sun City, so I think it's a bit on the golf course, and it's that main drive from the cabanas through to the vacation club. So they say the run is quite tough. The ride is pretty chilled. It's quite flat, and then the swim is, you just got to get through the swim, and then just in I get excited to get on the bike, and then I get excited to get into the run, especially on those distances.
So you don't enjoy swimming?
I don't mind it, but
it's the least fun.
Swimming's really tough because it's like, it's head down and you're there to get it done. You're not there to enjoy yourself in the water. Like, I've never heard somebody say, even a good swimmer is not like, oh, I love cruising through the water. But you speak to somebody that gets on the bike and they're like, I love being on the bike, or I love running. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's just to get the swim done, get out of the water, get onto my bike, and then just try and maybe do like a 3-hour bike even, because I don't want to smash it too hard for the run. And then just kind of see, I'll open up later on the run.
Take that first lap.
Yeah, just take it.
Caution.
It's also difficult getting off the bike into the run because you're running like 4 minutes a K.
Then you're blown.
But you shouldn't be. You should be like 5:30, 6 minutes a K in the beginning. But your legs from the cadence are so high. And then when you slow your back off your run, you feel like you need to walk, because your legs are still turning. It's so weird. So I'll just try and manage it like that, and then and then just a couple of weeks after that, and then it's Durban half Ironman, and then I always say I just want to chill after those. But then I've got Backyard Ultra, maybe GT 100.
Yes, nice.
GT 60.
GT 60.
So what's the date for that? August.
5th of August.
5th of August.
Yeah.
Send me the details.
I shall.
My dad and I will probably do that then.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, last year it was really cool.
It's at Cafe de Cirque in the south.
Okay.
Randval, so like Walkerville kind of side. Yeah, it's very cool. Lots of gravels out there.
Awesome. And that's the first one.
It's our second one. Yeah.
No, but I mean this year.
Oh yes, yeah.
So there's nothing else before then?
No, not from our side, no.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of other gravel races.
Yeah. Sure, there's plenty going. It's quite loud at the moment with races. It's pretty crazy.
It's very cool though.
Yeah.
It is interesting how in winter there's actually more events than in summer.
Yeah.
Especially, and there's a lot of trail running stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of trail running stuff, a lot of mountain biking stuff.
Yeah, mountain biking is more in winter because, I mean, road cycling in winter, you just freeze.
Yeah.
So we also always used to just go into the mountains because it's like you can start a bit later, you're in a mountain. You don't have to wear 4,000 layers.
Yeah, when the sun's shining, it's pretty warm.
Yeah, it's
like,
nice.
I mean, my dad and I, when we did Bergen Bush last year, it was -3 in the morning. And when the sun came up, we started, I think this race started at 7. It was really like 15 degrees.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like a 17-degree gap in like
quick,
2 hours. Like everything was frozen over. And then I came back from my ride. I'm in like a vest and shorts because it's so hot. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's what's nice about it as well, is you can start a bit later. You got more freedom in terms of backpacks and and also, I mean, you got a bit more of a relaxed crowd.
Yeah, you do.
With mountain biking. Obviously with the races, it's slightly, it's always intense, but the community around mountain biking for me just seems a bit more relaxed.
Road cycling is a bit intense.
Yeah.
It's quite hectic when you get to the race gates and the start gates. Everyone's like, a bit hectic, eh? Mountain biking is a lot more fun, I agree.
This podcast is powered by Dis-Chem Living Fit. With a wide range of supplements and fitness products, they have the perfect product for you regardless of your goal. Dedicated and committed to providing expert sources of information that you can trust and rely on. They are here to motivate, guide, and inspire. Dis-Chem Living Fit, making healthy living easier.
It's going down.